Yo, what's up? What if I told you that this controls everything in regards to how the studio is routed, which unit is active, in which order which unit is active, and I can control everything with just tapping the unit on or off. This is an absolute game changer. Yo, what's up? Today is a super exciting video. We're going to talk about the Flock Audio Patch, my review of this unit. It's a very unique unit and it totally transforms the studio into being extremely flexible when we're talking about the order of units, which units are being used on which mastering sessions, and the quality of the entire signal path. This thing has come into my studio as a necessity basically because I was expanding so much and there were so many new units coming in here in the studio, and I was always using one dedicated master chain with some units sometimes in bypass, or for example I could use the insert on the SSL Fusion, but it felt too much. And then I came across the Flock Audio Patch, and I know some people are using it, and everyone is just raving about it. I know Audio Animals is absolutely loving the unit, and you can check out Kotka Perun here on YouTube. He's loving it as well. This unit is super special. It's one of a kind. It doesn't do any conversion, but it's basically a digital analog patch bay. I showed you earlier, this is their app, and this app is basically identical to their app on the Mac, and that app communicates with a plugin in your DAW. This way you can make routings for a specific track which then are recallable through your DAW. So as you can hear, I love the unit, but let's take some steps back and let's start with the start. What is the Flock Audio Patch? Well, it's their flagship model. They have a couple different models depending on how much I/O you want. It's good to keep in mind that you need a lot of I/O. For example, if you have 4 units, then you need to go out of the Flock into, for example, unit 1 twice for right and left side, and that unit needs to go back as well into the Flock unit. So for one unit you need 4 of their total I/O count. So if your Flocks has 64, just divide it by 4 and then you know how many units you can hook up. In my specific situation, I am using the SPL Gemini as well, which it's very easy, but it can sound a bit complex. If you insert something on the Gemini in mid-side, then you can usually decide if you want the entire chain inserted of returns of the send and return on the Gemini. In my case, I'm sending the signal back to the Flock, and then I can select in the Flock which units I want to use in mid-side. For example, the MagiQ or the HVC 250 or the NG bus compressor or the Cranborn HE2. I can even use the Elysia Transient Shaper Mastering Edition in mid-side. And change the order of that mid-side chain as well. I can also decide to not do a mid-side chain at all and just use the Gemini for leveling the mid and side balance. This is just an extreme amount of flexibility, and that's just amazing. So what is the Flock? It's a digital patch bay. It lets you decide where you want to put which unit, and if you want to activate a unit, with a tap of a button you can bypass a unit. So you can just literally set up an EQ, activate it in the app, listen, and just with a tap A, B, and hear the difference that the unit makes. What you can do as well is swap the order. If you want to use the HG2, for example, it's a heavy coloring unit. It changes the entire sound. And in that case, it makes such a difference if you put it early or late in the chain. You can get completely different results. And usually, or like back in the days, you need an actual patch bay, and that's just a big headache. So mastering studios usually have, for example, an SPL Hermes, which is an analog switcher. But yeah, units like that don't have so much inserts and possibilities. So it's great, but Flock just takes it to the next level, and Flock really provides us engineers and as well producers, mixers, people with a lot of analog gear, provides us with absolute top-notch control over your signal path and which units you activate. So let's talk a little bit about the setup. You need breakout cables. I am using very high quality Cordial breakout cables. Definitely keep in mind that these cables aren't cheap at all. So yeah, if you buy the Flock, you need a bunch of those as well. So if you don't yet have them, definitely keep that in mind for your budget, because it will cost a little bit of money. That said though, you're all set to take it from there as well, because you can expand your Flock setup. So even if you max out your I/O, you can buy another Flock patch or whichever Flock you're using and expand. You could literally have an extra room next to your studio with all analog gear and connect everything through the Flock system. The possibilities are really endless, and the setting up part definitely for me took like a full day. I just unplugged all cables and swapped them out for the breakout cables. Then I used a little label printer so I could basically tag the cables and know which is which. If you buy breakout cables, definitely only buy them with numbers on them. So you know, if you hook up, for example, output 8 till 16 on the Flock and your XLR cable says 3 and 4, then you know this is that number plus the XLR number, and that's the number it will be in your Flock patch app. And they give you this PDF, which is extremely useful. I just had it on the iPad and literally wrote down every connection I made with the Flock, and then afterwards you install the DX app, just copy paste everything that you wrote down and you're ready to go. Basically the app is really well developed. Flock has been doing this for quite a couple of years now, and you can really feel that because the quality of the app is really good. It works like a charm. It's really awesome. So an important subject is sound quality. The Flock audio patch delivers absolute zero signal degradation. It retains the full quality of the signal. You literally hear no difference. Even if you do crazy routings, it literally makes no difference. Better even, it upgrades your sound because you are literally not going into the units that you're not using. So it's as direct as a chain as you can get, because you literally go from unit 1 to unit 5 to unit 7, and everything in between, your signal isn't even going through there. Now, it is true that if you go through all these units and everything is in bypass, normal humans cannot really hear the difference. However, I tested it out and it sounds ridiculously clean, and you can just get the best quality. What you can do as well, if you have a lot of I/O on your interface, is routed that way. However, this causes signal degradation because you're doing multiple rounds of ADDA conversion, and that's not what you want. So definitely use a flock if you want a modern way of routing your gear. It's the best available unit on the market right now. Now let's talk a little bit about the cons. For me, there's one thing that I hope to see in the future, and that's plugin integration without a standalone program, where you can literally route the flock inside your DAW. What you can do now is recall a saved routing. So if you, for example, master a track and you want to save that routing, you need to save it from the program of flock, give it a name or drag it in the project folder, and then in your DAW you need to open that file. However, this is such a small thing if you're used to it, and I even write it in my own recall sheets because I do recalls already for many years and for hundreds of tracks. So I have my system for that, and I literally write down this unit was off, this unit was off, anything specific that I need to know to get the right routing in flock, and it cost me literally 2 seconds before the mastering session to get it right. The flock is so fast, so easy to use that it's not really a con for me. Then some people mentioned the fan inside, but honestly, if you turn on the flock, it makes a super tiny sound, and then that calms down. And maybe that this is a problem if you're in a very warm studio. I have really good and effective air conditioning in the studio, so this room is always super cold, so the flock doesn't need to cool itself down. Maybe that the people online that were complaining about this were in warmer studios, I don't know, but to me it's a non-issue. Then I talked about it a little bit earlier, the cables. You need to buy all the breakout cables, and that can be quite expensive. So that's definitely, it's not really a con because it has nothing to do with the unit, but if you switch to the flock system, it's something to keep in mind. And you are also not using the previous cables anymore then, because you're using breakout cables. So if you have a big studio setup like me with all the gear here, and I have a side rack on my right hand side as well, and there's gear down in the desk, then you're gonna end up with a lot of unused XOR. So I have now a neatly organized box with tons of XORs, which I might sell or just keep for when I need it. So that's something to keep in mind. Then the price. I think the price is extremely competitive and extremely fair. The unit feels so solid and well built, and sounds amazing. Keep in mind that the DX app comes against a little cost as well, but you get so much in return that it's worth it. And I would even still get the flock if it would be twice the price. It's such an essential tool here in the studio because it allows me to get a super focused master chain without any hassle. It's super fast. I work on big quantity of tracks. I have mastering days where it's literally so many tracks, and I want to be fast and I want to sound as good as I can. So the flock is essential for that because it allows me to use any routing I want, when I want, and A/B units as well. You can literally test out what sounds better in the fastest and most clear way. So that's the flock. If you got any questions on the unit, definitely drop them below and I would be happy to answer them. I enjoyed making this video. It's a unit I cannot really demo sound wise in a way that would make sense because I already explained it. It doesn't change the sound and you can basically make any routing you want. So yeah, this unit is not something that changes the sound, but it's something that optimizes the flow of your signal, and that way it gets the best sound. So I hope that helps, and I see you all in the next video. If you didn't watch the mastering tour setup yet, definitely watch that. That was before I switched to the Flock system, but it gives really valuable insight into some approaches that I take with the order of things and of units, and how to basically use all this gear in the best way. So definitely check that out if you didn't, and subscribe to stay updated, because I'm about to drop a ton of more videos. Most of them go into some mastering techniques that I've been loving lately. I will do the Delta video as well that many requested. How to use Delta in the best possible way, for example in a clipper, or iZotope has it a lot, even in Imager and in saturation. So there's a big list of videos that are coming up, so definitely subscribe to don't miss them, and then I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.